John, I thought we'd talk about. I thought we'd do something a little different.
All right.
First of all, hello to everybody listening. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Pod Bay Door. You got John and Jamie here. We're going to do something a little different. Gerald from Phoenix, off of our email, which, by the way, is the podbaydorlv at gmail.com. He wrote in, actually quite a while ago, so sorry, Gerald. He said, I'm paraphrasing here, but I get pretty much bombed by emails marketing Las Vegas and all of its wares and things to do and things like that. Well, he said, we're finally coming, and I want to get some truth as to all this crap I'm seeing in my emails. And he said, is there any way, you can kind of lead us down the path what to believe?
Yeah.
And John, actually, a few days ago, from an article, a very recent article from CNN Travel, had 15 of our favorite attractions, their favorite attractions, and on one of the most famous roads in the West.
Yes.
Of course, Las Vegas Boulevard. And I thought we would. I've not looked at the article, and I don't know how in depth you looked at it before you sent it, but I have not looked at it. I thought we'd run through and test the veracity of CNN.
Yes, yeah. Some of the, I did look at what they had. There are certain things I'd say, oh yeah, I would definitely tell someone to go there. And other things I'd look at it and say, no. I mean, if you're here really like you're here for a week, and it's just like, okay, I've seen everything. You can see, Las Vegas in some ways is a lot like Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a really neat place to visit, and you can do it all in like 2 or 3 days. Yes. After that, then you start repeating. It's like, oh, do I want to do more shopping? I mean, I saw the zoo. Yeah, exactly. I've taken the ferry, and I've been, I've done this and that, and I've pretty much done everything. So I think, because some of the thing I look at it. And so I think I said, Las Vegas is one thing that culture has really failed here in the sense of high culture. We talked about earlier about Ricky Jay not wanting to do a show here because people always have another, they're always more interested in picking up women than they are in actually watching him perform. Yes. So it's just like the show is just an excuse to show up somewhere, right? Yeah. So I kind of think in a lot of ways, the Smith Center that they have downtown. I don't know how often tourists go there. I think it's mainly for locals that live here and wanted something beyond the shows on the Strip. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and I think great. Las Vegas tends to and has tended to lack any type of cultural activity, like Broadway shows, musicals, symphony, and opera, and so on. I think they were gun shy. They kind of stuck their toe in the water as it regards that type of cultural activity in Las Vegas, and maybe got a little sour taste in their mouth a few decades ago. And only now are they starting to welcome everything. And and the Smith Center is a fantastic venue. Yeah. And they've gotten. My wife went to. Good Lord, the strangest thing. She went to a presentation at the Smith Center by Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer. And there's musicals and symphony. It's fantastic. But I think it's the only departure, really. Yeah. In fact, the Phantom, right? Phantom of the Opera, the musical. Uh-huh. My understanding was for the traveling company, only one ever lost money, the one in Las Vegas. Oh, yeah. The one that played at the Venetian. When I saw it there, it was really good. Right. But I think maybe sometimes when people come here, it's like if you're going to go to a restaurant that has really great tasting food, and we know they're going to be calorie bombs. Right. Do you really say, well, I think I'm going to go, gluten free and low fat? Right. No, you're going to go there and you're going to splurge on it. Yes. Because if you're just going the other way, you may as well just go someplace else, right? So I think when people come here, they just want to, maybe they want to, they just want to appeal to their more base nature. I agree, but on a different level, I'm going to go back to Disney again. Yeah. I'm apparently entrenched in Disney's marketing, but it's akin to, I think, going to Disneyland and then going to see a movie.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
go on the rides and eat corn dogs and have fun. Vegas is like that. Why would you go to, you know, La Boheme
Yeah.
and not, you know, gamble and act a fool and drink and go crazy?
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a lot like it, and perfect. You know, that's what Vegas is, which is why, again, I think it strengthens the fact that Smith Center and all of the things coming like that, the tourists are welcome, but it's for us.
Yeah.
It's for us because we've kind of showgirled ourselves out after 10 plus years.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, some of the restaurants ran into that problem. They didn't really understand Las Vegas was not New York.
Yeah.
They might open up, you know, some of the restaurants that wanted to require a jacket or business. So come on, yeah, people have shown up in there in swimwear, for
Yes.
Christ's sake.
Yes.
You know, that's why they go out.
Right.
They're not wearing. They didn't pack a dinner jacket when it's 109 degrees outside.
Yeah, I think the celebrity chefs got a solid shot, you know, to the stomach with that kind of situation, because, you know, these people are obviously have the money to spend, and they had to drop that pretense, and I think it was very hard for them. It's just, you know, they have all these wonderful platings of food and everything else, and they got, you know, the guy that barely has a shirt on, but is willing to pay and wants the food.
Yeah.
So it was a dichotomy in Vegas for a while, but they let it go, and you know, but all the celebrity chefs are leaving now. But okay, no. Before we start, you mentioned vegan a moment ago, and I just read something, and I thought it was hysterical, and I was very disheartened for a second, then I realized it was just nonsense, like most vegan topics are.
Yeah.
The article said true vegans are no longer going to eat almonds and avocados, and of course that it was the clickbait, you know, title, and I'm like, all right, I'll take it. I clicked, and it wasn't because of the dietary reasons, because obviously it meets all the requirements of a vegan. It's because to grow them, the trees, the farmers and everybody involved, they're exploiting the bees, and true vegans shouldn't eat almonds because the bees are exploited, John.
Well, you know, I'll get into the not exploiting bees after we stop exploiting people. You know,
right? Exactly.
People, it's the same thing that I see this with animals, with dogs. They'll talk about, oh, how awful it was. There was a fire, and you know, somebody's dog died in it. Well, that is bad. But how about the owner? Did the owner perish as well?
Yes.
It's like they don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, did they get the dog out? I mean, come on, the dog's out of life. Is 9-year-old dog going to live in 5 more years anyway?
Well, true, but see, I'm the opposite. I think that our fan base has learned that get the dog, leave the guy.
Yeah.
But before we start, hello to and thank you to our sponsor this week, MRS Events. It's mrs-events.com for all of your party needs, all of your event planning. I just worked with them actually for Las Vegas has this wonderful conference called G2E, and it's the gaming expo.
Oh yeah,
anything and everything that is gaming happens here the last couple of days. All my model friends are out there doing some cool things. I was shooting fashion shows, and Mrs. Events was there, and my friend Carla was there, and they did a truly fantastic job. The fashion show actually was a fashion show that is put on by a company that provides all of the wardrobe for bar personnel and restaurants, and including the pool bars. So John.
Hot chicks.
Good. They were there in force.
Great.
So I had a great time. But it's mrs-events.com. Check those guys out. Great job for event planning and talent management too. All right. So back to Gerald. We have CNN travel article. Now I have it in front of me. I've not seen it. We're gonna test it. So we're gonna see. Okay. So the first thing they say is how do they? Okay. They said 15 of our favorite attractions.
Yeah.
On one of the most famous roads in the world. Sorry, not the West, the world.
The world.
So it is true. It is true. So not Sherman didn't march on it, but it's still famous worldwide. Welcome to the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada sign.
Yeah.
Now I agree.
I agree too.
I agree. I think that is something that you should see. They refer to it in the article as a beacon of Las Vegas. Yes. Figuratively speaking. And apparently it's really not official in any way. It's our unofficial iconic sign.
And it's also, let's see.
It's a poor man's Golden Gate Bridge.
Poor man's Golden Gate Bridge, yes. And in 2009, it was added to the National Register of Historic Places.
Nice.
Very good.
Well, I had a friend come and visit, and I asked him, hey, how's it been going? He goes, hey, I saw the sign. First thing I did, I'm good to go. Yeah. Basically, that was the thing he wanted to see the most was I've been there. I can say I've seen the sign.
Yeah. Well, you go in and it says, hello, welcome. You make a U-turn. It says, thank you for coming. And just head on out.
Yeah. And they've done a good job now, at least having it. So, in the past people were running across the road there and, now there's a nice parking lot and
there is, they put turf, they've put all different types of things. They maintain it very well. Now I find this very interesting at the very end. So you and I agree.
Yeah.
The Las Vegas sign, please come.
Yeah.
See that. It's really very cool. Now, it's also, I find the verbiage here interesting. And again, we're reading this sort of real time. And quote, it also served as the site of a makeshift memorial after the mass shooting at the country music concert in October 2017.
Yeah.
I don't know. With as common as people's feelings are about that tragic day, that's sort of a very blunt.
Yeah,
it was makeshift.
Yeah,
it's gone now, and it's being housed in another area. But absolutely, anybody coming to Las Vegas,
go see the sign.
Go see the sign,
Be a tourist.
and turn in there, park, and see the showgirls and the Elvis and the pink caddy that's there every once in a while.
Yeah.
Big Bird.
Yeah.
The best costume I've ever seen for a street performer. A full-on Big Bird. Amazing. Okay. The second one, number 2. I don't think these are in any order. I think these are just their 15. The Luxor Hotel and Casino.
Yeah.
Now, I have a soft spot for the Luxor. And because it was one of the places I visited when I was here.
Yeah.
Back when there were some cool things. You could take the river ride through it.
Right. Can't do that now.
You could go see the Winds of the Gods show, which was underneath, much like, we've mentioned it before, but much like the Tournament of Kings. And they had a little tiny white camel, which was fantastic. He was the cutest thing.
Yeah.
And they of course have the inclinators, which are elevators that go on a slight diagonal, a pitch.
Yeah.
39 degree. I'm reading a little bit here. But I don't know.
I think for the architecture,
is it a no miss?
It was something that, because it is different,
Mm-hmm.
it would be worth seeing. Also, they do have the really interesting Titanic. I think it's still there.
It's fantastic. We talked about that.
Yes, we talked about that before. The Selva is a hotel. It was a former circus property.
Yes.
So, it's going to be at the lower end, but
yeah.
But architecturally, it's really interesting. It has the brightest light in the world or something that shines up. You can take that little tram car that goes out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, it isn't something like saying, oh, man, I got to go back all the way back to Las Vegas just so I can see the Luxor. But
no.
I was in there. I mean, compared to some of the other hotels, I mean, I would skip. I'd see that one over obviously the old Monte Carlo or even Mandalay Bay. I mean, I'd go to Mandalay Bay, but at least there's something really distinctive about that pyramid.
Well, Mandalay Bay and Luxor are, the proximity is perfect.
They're perfect.
The for those of us who have lived here so many years and had driven back and forth, there was something sort of heartwarming to see the Luxor light.
Yeah.
It was not because you were home.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you were like, I made it.
Same with the castle and Excalibur.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And of course, the one thing that a lot of people still don't know, and for a while, and it's still doing it, but it's sinking. They had a problem with their design and the load-bearing portion of the ground, and it sinks. It still sinks. They've stopped it for the most part, but it's Luxor is one of the sinkers.
Yeah.
And well, now this is where they've gone to sort of kowtowed to the new the park. Now I've been to the park.
Yeah.
Been to the park many times.
Yeah, I have to.
Now, the park is a $100 million urban project here, and it's lovely. MGM sponsored, of course, and
the Monte Carlo you mentioned,
Yeah.
it's no longer there, of course.
Right.
It's the Park Hotel. And T-Mobile Arena is there, which, of course, is gotten a huge bump in popularity and with looky-loos and everything else because of our
The hockey
our
team.
Golden Knights,
Yeah.
yes.
In fact, I'll be there next Friday for the concert, for the System of a Down concert.
Oh, yes. And, of course, for those of people who are addicted to this particular company, Shake Shack,
Yeah.
I've been there. It's good.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of John Travolta and the $5 shake.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth $5 or $5. I'm kidding myself. But, $10. But it has, of course, Bliss Dance which is this 40-foot architecture and sculpture piece of a dancing woman. It's not nouveau, but I think it really is a tip of the hat to great architects and great sculptors. But the park is very small.
Yeah.
I mean, you're walking and you're having a lovely time on the cobblestones and the pavers and seeing the art pieces and the fun things, and then you're done.
Then you're done.
Then you're done.
Yeah.
And all you've passed are really expensive restaurants.
Yeah.
And it's not go in and have a burger, and it's very difficult to get in sometimes. And I noticed that although the food is actually quite good at all of them, one thing that's really bad for me as a customer, very loud. Very
Yeah,
loud.
I've noticed that.
But now this is a huge but. It is that what they've done, and I think it's a great thing, is that the Golden Knights, as with all of their popularity, very difficult to get a ticket. A, because of availability. B, because again they're crazy expensive, especially now, because they did so well. But they pipe that closed circuit out, and so people can stand in the park and near T-Mobile and watch the games.
The game, yeah, that's good.
Great move.
Yeah.
Great move, Vegas. So it's 50-50, I think, for me. It's just like, well, I mean, if they didn't have everything all at one time, I there's not one thing that would bring me there.
No, and I also thought my feeling was maybe it's for the more millennial crowd than us older people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm there, I mean, if you're walking up and down the strip and you're there, hey, you may as well look at it. But I'm not going to make a special trip, go out of my way just because I want to see the park.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So it's not, it isn't yet the destination spot to bring you.
Yeah,
it's just hey, that's neat.
Yeah,
and then move on to whatever you're doing.
Because if you take a photograph, you just show somebody here's some photos from my recent trip. You didn't tell them where you went. Obviously, if you go to the first place, the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, they're gonna know, you went to Las Vegas. So they see the pyramid, they're gonna know that you didn't go to Egypt, that you went to Las Vegas. Right. But you see that park, they're gonna say, where did you go?
Right, yeah.
Right, it hasn't been around long enough to have acquired that, to really have an impact on the city.
Yeah, yeah, and it seems almost like a stopgap between activities.
Yeah,
but still very, very nice. Well done. On the same vein, number 4, the city center, of course, is a huge MGM, again sponsored mostly area for hotels, casinos, and shopping and restaurants and so on and so forth. But it's called City Center. Aria's there, Vidara is there, Cosmo is there. They're notable. They're very good. Lots of 67 acres, which I find that to be larger than it seems, but I'm sure they're right. $40 million over the last 10 years, and public art apparently has been dropped down into there. Again, I think we're back to the park. I don't spend too much time on this one. We're back to sort of the same reasoning for me about the park center, city center. It's wonderful if you're there and happen to have to go through the city center to get to whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Especially if you're staying at one of those lovely properties. But seeing the art as a happenstance is fantastic. You're like, wow, that's neat. But again, it's not a destination. It's not a magnet that brings you to this location, which is why I think they've had some real difficulties over the years meeting their nut.
The only thing interesting about the Vidara, it's a Las Vegas Strip hotel without a casino.
Yes.
I mean, that's what makes it kind of, wow, what is it about? What is it? Something missing about it. I know it doesn't have a casino.
Yeah.
And then, if you're at the Cosmo, they have really good, they're really known for their restaurants.
Mm-hmm,
they make more money off the food and the shops than they do off the casino there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, number 5, CNN Travel. They're doing okay.
Yeah, they're doing all right.
Bellagio fountains.
Yes, absolutely.
Of course. Very easy to access. You can go to several restaurants or nightclubs, Hyde, Eiffel Tower Restaurant, Mon Ami Gabi, and really enjoy those. It was done by a company, and the company, I don't know if you ever knew this, the company, name of the company that did the entire production is called Wet.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And 1,000 fountains plus, I think they've added since this article, maybe, because they're doing some new things right now. And the highest shot is about 450 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Honestly, they quoted here in the article between 3 and 8 every 15 minutes, and then from 8 to midnight. Sort of.
Yeah, and also if it's windy, they're not going to do it.
Yeah, and they clean it a lot. There's always a guy in little boats.
Yeah,
but don't count on that. It could be every hour, it could be every 15 minutes, and there are different shows. They usually run about 3 different music packages.
Yeah,
but great place to go. Absolutely agree.
They've even had concerts on the water.
Yes.
They've had a performer. Yes. I mean, the people can't go there, but you stand back, and they've had, in fact, when the Golden Knights played in the Stanley Cup, they had Panic at the Disco, which is local, and they had a stage set up for them in the middle of the water, and they play. But, that's something else that, oftentimes an attraction really has to be around a long time before it becomes really iconic.
Yeah.
And I think that those fountains have been. They've only been here, 20 years, since the late 90s. But nevertheless, you see those. It's like the cable car and the Golden Gate Bridge. If you see that immediately, you're in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So for Las Vegas, it's either the sign, usually, or, they use those Bellagio fountains.
I know immediately when I see that things are triple the price.
Yes.
Then you're in San Francisco for sure.
Yeah.
Number 6, something near and dear to my heart. I love this particular presentation. A lot of people don't know about it because they don't go deep enough into Caesar's Palace.
Yeah.
As people know, hopefully our fans know, that Caesar's is my favorite.
Yeah.
The Fall of Atlantis show.
Oh, yes.
With the animatronics.
Good. Yes, that's very good.
Lights, water, animatronics, music. It's a sensory experience. It's fantastic. And it seems a lot longer, but from what this article says, it's 11 minutes. And it didn't used to be. It used to be the Bacchanalia, and it was Bacchanal, the god Bacchanal.
Yeah.
But they've changed it. It's now Atlantis, the King Atlantis, and he's ailing, and his children are trying to take over. But very, very cool, and it's really a fun 11 minutes. But you have to go deep into the Forum shops. If you make it, you go into the Forum shops, and it looks like you're in the center near Wolfgang Puck's restaurant.
Yeah.
Keep going. And you'll run into that before you reach the sort of the new Forum shop area.
Yeah.
But Fall of Atlantis, absolutely agree.
Yeah, and again, a 4-letter word starts with F. Here in this town, free.
Free.
It's free. It doesn't cost anything. It's not very much. It's free anymore. But we love the free shows.
So number 7 is again we have sort of a theme going on here in Las Vegas with it's not even a venue. It's an area, shopping, eating, art. Walking around, and the number 7 is the Link Promenade, and that essentially was first. And Link, of course, is right now relatively famous for housing the high roller.
Yeah,
and
and that's nice. You do it once,
one time, ever. You just one time, and you don't need to go on it again. But the Link basically opened in 2013, so it's the venerable shopping spot. But again, it's just nice to walk through. It houses the Brooklyn Bowl, great for concerts.
Yeah.
Margaritaville, of course, is there. But very expensive restaurants.
Yeah.
Even the basic burger kind of thing is.
Even the place. Oh, wait a minute! This used to be O'Shea's. That was a shithole.
That was.
And now it's expensive.
Yes, now it's expensive, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but the high roller is it's like 30 minutes long.
Right.
So it's not cheap, but nevertheless, everything compared to say, hey, you get more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
On attractions, because you go to the Luxor, they've got those motion rides. They're $5 a throw, and it's the same as Caesar's. And it's just like, geez, it lasts 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So this thing here, at least you get on it, and if you're in the evening, they have a bar. But it's a nice way of looking at, it's slow moving. Where it takes you half an hour or something like that, 20 minutes to go a whole circuit.
The high roller.
Yeah.
33 minutes.
33
I think.
minutes.
Yeah, 33.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, but beautiful.
Views.
Yeah,
want to take pictures.
Yeah, and you can actually the cars are large enough to have a party.
Yes,
I was there, unfortunately, working in one of them. It's not quite large enough, especially not for the party, the bar, and the photographer.
Yeah, where people who are used to, a regular Ferris wheel, like you say, where it's just a little car and it holds 3 or 4 people. No, this is like a train car.
Yeah.
And that's how the original one was when they opened it at the Chicago World's Fair.
Right.
Was the original ones they were basically train cars being moved through there. And it's hard to kind of visualize until you've actually been in one.
Now, interestingly enough, as we talk about all of these, they always try to paint a different picture. It's just like, well, it's community, it's culture, it's art, it's a new level of engagement. But what is the Link Promenade known for? The only In-N-Out burger on the strip, and the zip line.
Yeah, the zip line, and now don't they have Jada? Don't you have a restaurant?
At the Cromwell.
Cromwell, okay.
Cromwell, yeah.
That used to be a dump too.
Barbary Coast.
Yes, Barbary Coast.
Yes, Barbary Coast was a wonderful place to go and play Pai Gow. Not tiles, the actual card game Pai Gow. For $20, you could stay there for a week if you were just careful.
And I remember somebody asked if I could have any hotel on the strip, what would it have been back in 2000? I would have said the Barbary Coast. It was paid for.
Right.
It had low overhead. It had a great location.
Right.
So, I mean, it was just a cash cow.
Yeah.
Because it was always, it had location. It was a great place.
Exactly. So going to number, so again, it's a little cookie cutter, shopping, dining, and everything else. Very nice, lovely to visit, but again, not a destination.
Yeah.
Now, this one could be a destination, and it's been around a very long time, 1995. It's the F word. It's free.
Yeah.
And it's the wildlife habitat of at the Flamingo.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of. It's got lovely gardens, Japanese themed flamingos. It's got all different types of birds and wildlife there that you can enjoy. It's mainly enjoyable to have a drink and sit there and just enjoy the peaceful area. A terrible story I have about this one is that for a brief period of time, probably about 5 years ago, they were having trouble with someone killing the birds.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they ever found the guy, but it stopped. They rectified the problem, but it's really interesting. And there's a thing called Pelican Island where you can go and watch a little bit of a show, and the keepers, will introduce you to all the wildlife and the plant life. And so I kind of have to give that one a even higher than the Link.
Yeah.
It's peaceful, which is hard to find.
And also it's the Flamingo, and it does have historical,
lots of history.
It's a lot of history there. Yeah. If you want to know where it all started, that's ground zero on the strip.
Yeah.
Not Las Vegas, but for the strip, that's the house that Bugsy built.
Yeah. Now here's something, John, that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Number 9 is the Mirage Volcano.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Top of my list.
Yep.
It's free.
It's free.
Yeah, it's free.
Free.
It's a great thing to watch.
Yeah.
Especially close, because you feel that fire, you feel the water. It's just a beautiful thing, and it's really, again, it's a homey feeling to me when I see it. Now, much like the Bellagio fountains, they have a soundtrack that is connected to it. Now, I didn't realize, I'm going to read this directly, the soundtrack is a collaboration between Mickey Hart, former drummer of
The Grateful Dead,
and Zakir Hussain, an Indian musician who is a master of a drum called the tabla.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. And the volcano dates back to its opening in, what do you think?
Oh, 92?
89.
Oh, 89, okay.
89. Then the New Beats by the Grateful Dead guy, 2008. Again, they pyrotechnics, they go off Sunday through Thursday, 7 and 8 o'clock, and with an additional show on Friday and Saturdays at 9. Sometimes, it's a very tenuous
sort of a delicate thing, and if anything goes wrong, that sucker doesn't go off. But absolutely see that. If you've never seen that, it's
and that might be also in some ways ground zero for the free attractions like this. That was the one, because you said 89. I was thinking a little later, but then there was the Treasure Island, and they had a great free show, which is no longer there, unfortunately.
Right.
But then some of the other ones started following suit, so that kind of set the trend. But it goes all back to it goes back to that volcano, and then Steve Wynn. Hey, I had a home run with that one. So we had Bellagio fountains, and then his newer one. As far as I know, they don't have anything there to win.
Not really. It's really more for the upper level gambler. And enjoyer.
They have a nice garden there. A little walk.
A lovely garden. Well, here it is, John. Number 10.
All right.
CNN Travels list here. The Venetian Canal.
There you go.
Let's see what it says about it. I'm just going to read. This is interesting. Baritones boom out Italian love songs as they paddle past. Couples canoodle in gondolas as they glide by. You can't get more Venetian than this outside of Italy. Yes, you can. You can have pickpockets and horrible people trying to sell you overpriced food. No, that's true. That's true. Now, it goes on to describe Sheldon Adelson and the waterways and 285,000 gallons of water that are there, and so on and so forth. We've talked about this, possibly ad nauseum. I don't know. But should they be part of this list? Should they be part of anybody's list? What do you think?
Well, I think the hotel itself, it would be one that's absolutely worth seeing. The colonnade, the paintings that are in there, the shops, because that is unique.
Yes.
That indoor waterway around the shops. Caesar's had it where they painted the sky and they had the forum shops. So then the Venetian took that idea, but they really set it up nicely. At least I remember it being really state of the art in '99 when it opened.
Right.
So, but yeah, I would say the Venetian Palazzo complex is something we're seeing. If they consider it one hotel, which I don't, but it's the largest in the world. Yeah. What is some astronomical number of rooms, over 10,000, I think.
Yeah. In combination of towers. Yeah. Used to be still single area MGM Grand.
Yeah.
Which is,
And you remember when we opened, when the Venetian opened, the plan all along was to open that second hotel.
Yes.
But they were going to wait. They were going to do it 2 years later, and it was going to be called the Lido. I remember this.
Yes.
But 2 years, what they did then, they just added more rooms. They added kind of like a half tower or something. They added another 1,000 rooms, and then after that was, then they went in with the Palazzo.
Yeah. The Venetian built up. They couldn't build out. They kind of jammed themselves in there. So I think there was a space issue back in the Lido days. But continuing on, I agree.
Yeah.
The Venetian, it may be the only way an individual can see anything close to what Venice really is.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's wonderful. And it really is truly beautiful. Although I've been to Venice, it doesn't smell. I don't, it may be used to, but it doesn't. So I mean, it is still a beautiful place to walk around, and it's really quite breathtaking to think of where you are and how much history has flown through there. But the Venetian is an apt copy. And I do recommend going to see it, and I do believe it is a destination. If the one place you want to see is the Venetian, you should go see that.
Yeah,
it truly is wonderful, and you should start from the Strip in.
Yes,
don't start from the parking lot out. Basically, walk up to it. Start at the Mirage, see the volcano, then go to the Venetian.
Yeah, because they have the canal on the outside too.
Yes, they have the canal, they have the Doge Palace, they have everything. It's
Bridge
wonderful.
of Sighs is there.
Now on the other side of the coin, John.
Yeah.
Number 11.
Yeah.
Adventure Dome.
Oh
barf.
No.
And it's not free.
No.
It has children.
Yeah.
And it's
and the best thing about it was
hard to get to.
Every October they used to have the Fright Dome.
Fright Dome.
And they're not having it now. So
no,
yeah.
I think it's a safety thing. I think unfortunately our world
is turning in on itself, and we're getting rid of the fun things because they're fun in the wrong way.
Yeah, it's an overpriced amusement park. If you've ever been to an amusement park in your life, you've been to a better one than the Adventure Dome.
Agreed. Not much to say. I mean, it has rides. It's okay. It's got arcade games. It's got all different types of things. It's got a small bowling area, but not so great.
No, in fact, I would say the only reason I would send someone to Circus is for really two reasons. One is it's been there for so long. If you really want to get a flavor of what things were like before, because at that end of the strip, it used to be, they used to have the Riviera, they had the Sahara. That was kind of a happening spot, and where the Bellagio is now, that was the new Vegas.
Right.
But the old Vegas was the Stardust and the Riviera. It was down there, so it was right there. And that, Hunter S. Thompson featured it so prominently in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Agreed.
And, go there, see it for that reason. Other than that, it's a
well, and if you've never eaten with acrobatics flying above your head. Go for it. Yeah. So a big no for both John
not for Adventure Dome.
Not that it's not true. So we haven't been confronted with anything that's not true.
Yeah.
They're not overselling it. They're saying exactly what it is. But the Adventure Dome being on the list is that's a tough one. So that's a no. Number 12, the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, of course, made famous by the Pawn Stars.
Yeah.
No for me.
Yeah.
And mainly because of its area.
It's a shitty area.
Yeah, I'm not much for reality TV at all, and I really didn't think the characters were endearing. The old man's dead now. I think.
He died,
and
and they're hardly ever there anyway.
Yeah,
so
and the fat kid, he's always in jail for one reason.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. They always tried to present Chumley as being some $12.95 an hour schlub. And, he was driving around town in a Rolls Royce. He's making $20,000 per episode.
Right.
He was renting a house in the most exclusive area of Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. But on TV, he portrays a slob.
Yeah.
And that's what, endeared people to him. But then he also, indulged all of his fantasies, and he had guns and tied up women and all kinds of stuff that came out about him.
Yeah. He had tied up women?
I think he had tied up women, too. Yeah,
I missed that one. Where'd that story come out? So Pawn Stars, Gold and Silver Pawn Shop. Yes, I mean, you can go there, you can see it, you can wait in line to get in, which is an amazing thing. It is a functioning pawn shop. But the two main reasons is, A, they're not there most of the time. And the filming is seasonal, of course.
Yeah.
And the second reason is it's a horrible area.
Yeah. I remember I was in that area not all that long ago, and I was trying to find directions on my phone. So I said, I'm going to pull over and stop and get it. And I just pulled over and said, there's a good place. There's a parking lot. I didn't even realize it was their parking lot.
It was their parking lot.
Yeah. I said, oh, gee, here it is.
All right. Now this one's a toss up for me.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to go with yes. It should be part of this list. So no on the pawn thing.
Yeah.
The top 15, it doesn't make that. 13, Fremont Street Experience.
Yeah.
It is a truly unique thing. The light show on the canopy over the road, truly an amazing thing to watch, and it's the shows are fun. I think they have 3 shows now, 3 different shows. Now, of course, they have the zip line. As long as some kid's not peeing off of it, it's fun. That goes into the largest slot machine.
Yeah, the Slotzilla.
Yeah, Slotzilla. Yeah. It's campy.
Yeah,
it's what Vegas turned into in the 90s.
Yeah,
but it's fun. It's visual. It's something that you can engage with. Watch out for the pickpockets. Unfortunately, I was told recently that that they've started up again. So keep your hands in your pockets if you look up. But I do agree. I think that is a truly unique experience, destination worthy, and it's one of the good things about downtown.
Yeah,
John and I think agree. Downtown, it's not great.
Yeah.
They've tried so hard. It's just not great.
Yeah, they have tried, and I think that was kind of their pinnacle. There was that Fremont. I mean, yeah, it is if you're down that way, and if you're going to go down that way, you may as well. They have a couple of really good restaurants. We've talked before about Hugo's Cellar.
Right.
There's the Golden Nugget's got a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's even a brewery downtown. You can get I went with a friend. He had a Groupon coupon. We went there.
Yeah,
it was fine. You know, I mean, if you haven't been to one, or if somebody asked if they have breweries in Las Vegas, there's one downtown.
Yeah. Somebody asked me about Groupons in Vegas. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They got Groupons for everything in Vegas. You know, and especially spas. Good Lord.
Yes.
But check Groupon. Vegas is definitely.
What I don't understand about Groupon, I get these things. I said, "Holy shit, who would buy?" I mean, I understand. You know, it's a restaurant. You're going to get a $6 Groupon. You get it's worth $18. That's fine.
Right.
If it's shitty, what is it? You're out $6.
Right.
But I've seen it for like LASIK surgery. Really? I got a Groupon. I get a free eye. What is it? Oh, really? You want the Groupon discount?
I totally
Instead
agree.
of $2,000, I want to pay $450. Those are my eyes you're talking about.
Yeah, I saw one for plastic surgery. I totally agree with you. Yeah, scary. Number 14, again, I cast a jaundiced eye on the downtown container park.
Yeah, it's a dump. I didn't like it.
Yeah. John's been there. I've been there. It is a quirky attempt at being quirky.
Yeah.
And it's not doing well. You know, people, unfortunately, businesses, they charge too much to run a business there.
Yeah.
The food was okay. Because we have such a lacking in food trucks because of the laws here. I think that's what they wanted it to be, but they charge too much.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a food truck, you go get some street tacos and you're thrilled, and you got a beer and you got tacos and their friends, and it was wonderful. That's not what the container park turned into.
No.
And so everybody was charging too much. The people charged too much for the food because they were being charged too much for the container.
Yeah.
You know, but is it a unique place to see? Sure.
I went through it in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, basically I walked right through it and say, because there was nothing for me to stop and say, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, oh, here's the container park. I've heard about it. Take a look. And
so not destination worthy.
No.
Unique if you're there. Run through it if you have a spare 10 minutes.
Like I was, because there was a vegetarian restaurant, vegan restaurant, Veganation.
Yeah.
And this was before I went to the Las Vegas Music Festival.
Right.
And I had some time to kill. And I walked over there and went through, but I wouldn't make a special trip down there to see it.
The only thing that's unique, which I knew about, I didn't realize who was behind it, the giant fire-breathing praying mantis sculpture out front. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
I did not.
I didn't see it actually breathing fire, though, but I saw that maybe it wasn't on.
Apparently, it was created for Burning Man by an aerospace engineer. His name is Kirk Jellum. But again, it's kind of like when you're driving and the world's largest ball of twine.
Yeah.
You know, it's a fire-breathing praying mantis. Okay. Not worth being on this list.
No.
So not destination worthy. And finally, something that I've been to many times. It's great for many, many reasons. Primarily because it archives our wonderful signage here.
Yeah.
The Neon Museum.
Yes, the Neon Museum.
Often called the Boneyard or the Neon Boneyard. It is not free.
Yeah.
It can be free. You can, and I believe now there is a Groupon for it. It is a wonderful place to go. If you're a non-professional. If you're a professional doing what I do, they charge you the crap out of you. So, but it's a wonderful place again because it's saving our history.
Yeah,
our signage is one of the things that mark us on the map, and some of the greatest things are over there. Vegas Vic. And Sassy Sally from downtown.
From downtown.
There's just wonderful stuff over there. It is absolutely a destination. I absolutely advocate going there and keeping their business alive. It is what I would the only thing on here, maybe one of three that I would truly call a landmark.
Yeah, because also, when you think about the newer hotels, and that era would be starting with the Mirage, 89.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Is that lack of neon. I mean, they're bright, they've got lights, but when you think about those, it's funny when you go back and look at movies from the 70s that were shot in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. When they wanted to show, okay, we're going to show the lights and everything, it was downtown.
Right.
That's what they showed. They showed, it would be the Golden Nugget, or they would show the Riviera. Mm-hmm. They had the lights. But the newer hotels don't. I mean, like I said, they're lit up, but they're not. It's not neon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flamingo does. I think they still have it.
Yeah. So Gerald,
from Phoenix. There you go. That was a current article, CNN Travel.
Yeah.
And I would say that out of 50, maybe some fluffy verbiage.
Yeah.
But out of the 15, there was no, there were no, fallacies. I mean, everything was quite true. However, out of the 15, I would say a pretty solid 5 I wouldn't have put on there.
Yeah. I was surprised. I said, well, if you're going to put the container park on, why don't you have the Mob Museum? Because granted, the Mob Museum doesn't just celebrate Las Vegas. But one of the things it showed me, and it's interesting, in my work, when we have to worry so much about sensitivity issues, about, well, the children might not, and very often when you look at a science text or article, and it's written for kids, when they try to explain how powerful something is, or an explosion of some kind that happens in outer space, they'll say it's the equivalent of 10 atom bombs, which probably no longer has the relevance to a kid as it did in my era, your era, because we grew up in the atomic age when we did see those mushroom clouds. They were testing those. So I think kids today may have heard of those. But anyhow, it's just like, well, what about the Nevada kids? I said they celebrated, for Christ's sake. They got the Atomic Museum.
Yes.
All right. We're proud of that. They're proud of the mob, of the underworld, even if it's not ours.
No, absolutely, I agree, John. We've talked about this before. The removal of the nostalgia and the mindset of replacing something with something else that is also new. It's like, well, this new failed, and then we're going to replace this one with this one. And it doesn't seem to be working, but I think we've covered that nostalgia portion of it with that. But well, John, thank you for being here and being my partner today as usual. Thank you to Mrs. Events, or mrsevents.com. It's mrs-events.com. Thanks to them for their sponsorship. They're such a great company, and I had a great time with them in this past couple of weeks. You can check in with them again. It's mrs-events.com. And for all of your event and talent needs, they do a great job in Las Vegas and the Southwest and Western region. Again, if you want to get a hold of us, it is thepodbaydorlv@gmail.com. And you can connect with us, of course, in all of the social networking arenas, Facebook, Twitter, Insta. I've been told it's either Gram or Insta. It really depends on what millennial you talk to. But please do contact us. We love to hear everybody's comments and concerns and questions, and we try to address those either on air or through the email system. But again, for John, this is Jamie, and we will see you next week. Thanks to everyone listening and watching. You can catch the Pod Bay Door on the Podbean app or any of your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher Radio. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast. Please download, like, and subscribe. Our social connectivity screen is coming up. Check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and WordPress. The Pod Bay Door is closed and talent is out. Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show. We would love to hear your show suggestions and comments. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, please click to subscribe. You can also connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using @TPBD Podcast, and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.